My name is Brenda Carter, and I am 69 years old. I never thought I would live to see the day when my own son would tell me to get out of my house. But that day came. And what happened next changed everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October, the kind of day when the sunlight comes through the windows soft and golden, making even the dust look pretty. I was sitting in my favorite chair in the living room, the one Robert and I bought back in 1985, right after Kevin was born. The cushion still had the worn spot where Robert used to rest his arm. I was knitting a blanket for the church fundraiser when I heard footsteps coming down the hallway. Heavy footsteps, angry footsteps. Kevin appeared in the doorway. My son, 42 years old, a doctor at Mercy General Hospital, and standing there with his face twisted up in a way I had never seen before. Behind him was Vanessa, his wife of 7 years, with her arms crossed and her mouth set in that thin line she always wore when she looked at me. "Mom, we need to talk," Kevin said. His voice was cold, flat. I set down my knitting needles. My hands were shaking a little, but I tried to smile. "Of course, sweetheart. Sit down. Can I get you some tea?" "No." He did not sit. "This has gone on long enough." "What has gone on long enough?" Yes. My heart was starting to beat faster. Vanessa stepped forward. "Brenda, you are becoming a burden. You can barely walk up the stairs anymore. You forget things. Last week, you left the stove on." "That was one time," I said quietly. "I turned it off as soon as I remembered." "One time is all it takes to burn down a house," Kevin snapped. His eyes were hard. "My house." Those two words hit me like a slap. My house. Not our house. Not the house I bought with his father in 1982. Not the house where I raised him alone after Robert died. My house. As if it belonged to him. I opened my mouth to speak, but he was not finished. "Vanessa and I have been looking at nursing homes," he said. "There is a nice one about 20 minutes from here. Sunny Meadows. They have activities, nurses on staff, everything you need." The room started to feel smaller. The air felt thick. "Kevin, I do not want to go to a nursing home. This is my home. I am fine here." "You are not fine." His voice exploded, loud and sharp, echoing off the walls. "You are old, Mom. You are in the way. Either you agree to go to Sunny Meadows, or you pack your bags and get out." I stared at him. This was not my son. This was not the little boy I rocked to sleep when he had nightmares. This was not the young man I worked double shifts to put through medical school. This was a stranger. "Kevin," I whispered. "Please. If you will not go to a nursing home," he said, his voice shaking with rage, "then get out of my house." The words hung in the air like smoke. Vanessa stood behind him with her arms still crossed, saying nothing, just watching. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not my heart breaking. Something deeper than that. It was the last thread of hope I had been holding on to, the belief that my son still loved me, snapping clean in half. I stood up slowly. My knees ached, but I did not let it show. I looked Kevin right in the eyes. "All right," I said. "I will leave." He blinked, surprised. Maybe he thought I would cry or beg. But I was done begging. I walked past him, past Vanessa, down the hallway to my bedroom. The small bedroom at the back of the house. The one they had moved me into 6 months ago when they decided the master bedroom should be theirs. I pulled my old suitcase out from under the bed and started packing. Few dresses. Some photographs. My Bible. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and took out my phone. My hands were still shaking, but I knew what I had to do. I scrolled through my contacts until I found the name I was looking for. Pressed call. He answered on the second ring. "Brenda." "James," I said, and my voice finally cracked. "I need help." "I will be there in an hour," he said, no questions asked. "Pack your things. I am sending a car." I hung up and sat there for a moment, letting the tears come. Not tears of sadness. Tears of relief. An hour later, I heard the sound of a car pulling up outside. A big car from the sound of the engine. I picked up my suitcase and walked back down the hallway. Kevin and Vanessa were in the kitchen, whispering to each other, probably planning what they would do with my house once I was gone. The doorbell rang. Kevin looked confused. He walked to the front door and opened it. And froze. Standing on the porch was James Mitchell, wearing a charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than Kevin made in a month. Tall, silver-haired, with kind eyes and a calm smile. Behind him, parked in the driveway, was a black limousine, sleek and shining in the afternoon sun. James looked past Kevin straight at me. "Brenda," he said gently. "Are you ready?" I walked toward the door, suitcase in hand. Kevin stepped in front of me, blocking my way. His face was pale. "Who is this?" he asked. I looked up at my son. "This is James Mitchell," I said. "An old friend. And he is here to take me home." Kevin stared at James, then at the limousine, then back at me. For the first time in months, I saw something flicker across his face. Not anger. Not irritation. Fear. If you are watching this story and feeling it in your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. Your support means everything. James stepped inside and gently took my suitcase. "Shall we?" he asked. He nodded. I walked past Kevin without another word, out the front door, down the steps, and toward the limousine. The driver opened the door for me, and I slid into the soft leather seat. As the car pulled away, I looked back one last time. Kevin was standing in the doorway, his mouth open, staring after us. And I knew in that moment that nothing would ever be the same. The leather seat was cool against my back as the limousine glided down the street. I watched my neighborhood pass by through tinted windows. Mrs. Henderson watering her roses. The Miller kids playing basketball. Everything looked the same, but I was not the same woman who had woken up in that house this morning. James sat across from me, quiet and patient. He did not ask questions. He just handed me a bottle of water and a handkerchief when the tears started again. "Thank you," I whispered. "You do not have to thank me, Brenda," he said softly. "You should have called me sooner." Maybe I should have. But I kept hoping Kevin would remember who I was. Who he used to be. As the city rolled past, my mind drifted back. Back to 1982. Back to when everything was different. Robert and I found the house on Maple Street on a Sunday afternoon in March. We had been married for 3 years and were living in a cramped apartment above a laundromat. The smell of detergent had soaked into everything we owned. We were saving every penny, dreaming of something better. The realtor, a cheerful woman named Paula, showed us 5 houses that day. The first 4 were wrong in different ways. Too small. Too expensive. Bad neighborhood. But when we pulled up to 324 Maple Street, Robert looked at me and smiled. "This is it," he said. It was a 2-story colonial with white siding and black shutters. The lawn needed work. The porch steps creaked. But it had 3 bedrooms, a big kitchen, and a backyard with an old oak tree perfect for a swing. "Can we afford it?" I asked Robert as we walked through the empty living room. Our footsteps echoed on the hardwood floors. He pulled out a crumpled piece of paper covered in numbers. Robert was an accountant. He loved numbers. "If we are careful," he said. "If we both keep working. If we do not eat out for the next 10 years. He grinned. "We can do it." We signed the papers 3 weeks later. I remember standing in that empty living room on move-in day, holding Robert's hand, feeling like we had won the lottery. This was ours. A house. Our future. 3 years later, Kevin was born. Robert painted the nursery yellow because we wanted to be surprised. When the nurse placed that tiny wrinkled baby in my arms, Robert cried. Actual tears running down his face. "We made this," he whispered. "We made a whole person." Kevin grew up in that house. We marked his height on the kitchen doorframe every birthday. Robert taught him to ride a bike in the driveway. We had birthday parties in the backyard with sheet cakes from the grocery store and pin the tail on the donkey. Simple things. Happy things. Robert built a treehouse in the oak tree when Kevin turned 8. Nothing fancy, just some plywood and 2x4s, but Kevin spent every summer up there, pretending to be a pirate or an astronaut or whatever his imagination dreamed up that day. I could still see Robert standing at the bottom of that tree, looking up at Kevin, shielding his eyes from the sun. "Be careful up there, buddy," he would call. Kevin would laugh. I am always careful, Dad. We were happy. Not rich, not fancy, but happy. Then everything changed. It was April 15th, 1995. Tax season. Robert had been working late every night for weeks, coming home exhausted, falling asleep on the couch still wearing his tie. I kept telling him to slow down, to rest, but he would just kiss my forehead and say, "Just a few more weeks, Bren. Then I will take a vacation. We will go to the beach." We never made it to the beach. He collapsed at his desk at 2 in the afternoon. Massive heart attack. He was 48 years old. The funeral was on a Thursday. The church was full. Robert had been quiet, but he had been kind, and people remembered that. Kevin sat between me and Robert's brother Tom, wearing a suit we had bought the day before. He was 13 years old. Too young to lose his father. After everyone left, after the casseroles and the sympathy cards stopped coming, it was just Kevin and me in that big house on Maple Street. And a mountain of bills. Robert had life insurance, but it was not much. Enough to bury him and pay off the mortgage. That was it. I needed to work. I needed to work a lot. I picked up extra shifts at Mercy General where I worked as a nurse. I worked nights, weekends, holidays. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. If they needed someone, I said yes. Kevin stayed with neighbors or my sister Janet. He never complained. He was a good kid. Quiet, studious, responsible. He got straight A's. He joined the debate team. He got into a good college with a partial scholarship, but it was not enough. So I worked more. I sold Robert's car. I stopped buying new clothes. I ate peanut butter sandwiches for dinner so Kevin could have proper meals when he came home on breaks. When he got into medical school, I was so proud I cried. My son. Doctor. Robert would have been so proud. I worked until my feet ached and my back screamed, and I could not remember the last time I had slept more than 4 hours. But I did it. I put my son through medical school. Every single penny. At his graduation, Kevin hugged me. "I could not have done this without you, Mom," he said. I believed him. "Brenda." James's voice pulled me back to the present. I blinked and realized my cheeks were wet again. "We are here," he said gently. I looked out the window. We were pulling up to a beautiful house in a quiet neighborhood I did not recognize. 2 stories, brick, with a wraparound porch and flower boxes under every window. The kind of house I used to dream about. "Where are we?" asked. James smiled. "Home," he said. "At least for now. Have a guest suite. It is yours for as long as you need it." The driver opened my door. James helped me out, his hand steady and warm. I stood on the sidewalk, looking up at this stranger's house, and realized something. I had spent my whole life taking care of other people. Robert, Kevin, my patients. When was the last time someone had taken care of me? "Come on," James said. "Let me show you around. Then we can talk about what happens next." What happens next? I did not know. But for the first time in a long time, I felt something I had almost forgotten. Oh. James's guest suite was bigger than my old bedroom at the house on Maple Street. It had a queen-sized bed with a white comforter, a sitting area with 2 armchairs, and a bathroom with one of those walk-in showers with a built-in seat. Everything was clean and soft and quiet. "I will let you get settled," James said, setting my suitcase on the bench at the foot of the bed. "Come down whenever you are ready. No rush." After he left, I sat on the edge of the bed and looked around. The room smelled like lavender. There were fresh towels folded on the bathroom counter and a vase of white tulips on the dresser. When was the last time someone had put flowers in my room? I caught my reflection in the mirror above the dresser and stopped. For a moment, I did not recognize the woman looking back at me. When had I gotten so small? My shoulders were hunched. My hair, which used to be thick and dark, was thin and gray now, pulled back in a bun that made me look older than I was. My clothes hung loose. I had lost weight without noticing. My eyes looked tired. I thought about the woman I used to be. The young nurse who ran up and down hospital corridors without breaking a sweat. The mother who baked cookies at midnight because Kevin forgot to mention the school bake sale. The widow who worked 3 jobs and still made it to every parent-teacher conference. When had I disappeared? I thought it happened slowly. After Kevin married Vanessa, I started making myself smaller, taking up less space, talking less at dinner, giving up my seat at the head of the table, moving into the back bedroom without arguing. I told myself I was being flexible, accommodating, a good mother-in-law. But the truth was darker than that. I was afraid. Afraid that if I asked for too much, Kevin would pull away. Afraid that I would lose the only family I had left. So I shrank, and shrank, until I almost vanished completely. I stood up and walked to the window. The sun was setting, painting the sky pink and orange. From here, I could see James's backyard. Stone patio. A garden full of roses. A small fountain bubbling quietly. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out and saw Kevin's name on the screen. 3 missed calls. 5 text messages. Mom, where are you? Who was that man? We need to talk. Mom, answer me. This is ridiculous. Call me back. I turned the phone off and put it back in my pocket. There was a soft knock on the door. Brenda. James's voice. I made some tea. Would you like to join me on the porch? Open the door. James stood there holding 2 mugs, steam rising from both. He smiled, and I noticed the lines around his eyes. Kind lines. Laugh lines. I would like that, I said. We sat on the porch in wooden rocking chairs, sipping tea and watching the sky change colors. For a long time, neither of us spoke. It was comfortable. Easy. Finally, James set down his mug and looked at me. Do you want to talk about it? Took a breath. I do not know where to start. Start anywhere, he said. So I did. I told him everything. About Kevin moving into the house. About Vanessa's coldness. About being pushed into the back bedroom. About the nursing home brochures. About today. James listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Brenda, do you know who owns that house? And blinked. What do you mean? Legally. Whose name is on the deed? Mine, I said. Robert and I bought it together. When he died, it went to me. Kevin has never been on the deed. Why? James leaned forward. Because your son has been telling people it is his house. The hospital. Church. I heard it myself at the reunion last spring. He has been acting like he owns it. My stomach dropped. But he does not. No, James said. He does not. And if he has been pressuring you to leave, if he has been threatening you, we need to make sure you are protected. Protected how? James reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. This is my lawyer, Patricia Chin. She specializes in elder law. I want you to call her tomorrow. Tell her everything you told me. I took the card. My hands were shaking again. James, I do not want to fight with Kevin. He is my son. I know, James said gently. But Brenda, he told you to get out of your own house. That is not love. That is not how you treat someone you care about. I knew he was right. But knowing it and accepting it were 2 different things. How did we get here? I whispered. How did my little boy turn into someone I do not recognize? James reached over and took my hand. His skin was warm. I do not know. But I do know this. You deserve better. You deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And if Kevin cannot see that, then he needs to learn. I looked down at our hands. James and I had known each other a long time. We met in high school, dated for 2 years, talked about getting married. But then life happened. He went away to college. I met Robert. We drifted apart and lost touch. We reconnected 6 months ago at our 50th high school reunion. He was widowed too. His wife Carol had passed away 3 years earlier. We sat at the same table during dinner and talked for hours. About the past. About our kids. About getting old. He told me he had started a construction business that had done well. Real estate development. He was retired now, comfortable, spending his days traveling and volunteering. He seemed happy, peaceful. Before we said goodbye that night, he wrote his number on a napkin and pressed it into my hand. "If you ever need anything, Brenda, anything at all, call me." I had kept that napkin in my wallet ever since. And today finally I had called. "Thank you," I said now, squeezing his hand. "For coming to get me. For this." I gestured at the house, the porch, the tea. "For everything." "You do not have to thank me," James said. "I should have done this sooner. I could see you were struggling at the reunion. I should have said something then." "I would not have listened," I admitted. "I was not ready." And now, I thought about Kevin's face when he screamed at me. About Vanessa's cold smile. About the tiny bedroom and the nursing home brochures. "Now," I said slowly, "I am ready." James nodded. "Good. Then tomorrow we make a plan. Tonight you rest. You are safe here, Brenda." "I promise." I believed him. That night, I lay in the big comfortable bed in the lavender-scented room and stared at the ceiling. My mind was racing. What would happen next? Would Kevin come looking for me? Would he apologize? Did I even want him to? I thought about the house on Maple Street. About Robert. About all the years I had poured into those walls, into that life. And I realized something that made my chest ache. The house was just a building. Wood and nails and paint. What made it a home was love. And the love had left a long time ago. I just had not wanted to admit it. I rolled over and closed my eyes. Tomorrow I will call the lawyer. Tomorrow I would start figuring out what came next. But tonight, for the first time in months, I felt safe enough to sleep. I woke up to sunlight streaming through white curtains and the smell of fresh coffee drifting up from downstairs. For a moment I forgot where I was. Then I remembered. James's house. Safety. Freedom. I got dressed slowly, my joints stiff from yesterday's stress. When I made it downstairs, James was in the kitchen, scrambling eggs and humming along to the radio. He looked up and smiled. "Good morning. I hope you slept well." "Better than I have in months," I admitted. He handed me a plate. Real breakfast. Eggs, toast, fruit. Not the cold cereal I had been eating alone in my room while Kevin and Vanessa had their morning coffee in the kitchen that used to be mine. "Patricia can see you at 11, James said. "I will drive you if you want company." "I would like that," I said. At 10:30, we pulled up to a sleek office building downtown. Patricia Chen's office was on the 4th floor, all glass and modern furniture. She was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes and a firm handshake. "Mrs. Carter," she said, gesturing to a chair across from her desk. "James told me a little about your situation. Why don't you walk me through everything from the beginning?" So I did. Again. It was getting easier to say the words out loud. Kevin moved in. Vanessa took over. They pushed me out of my own life. Yesterday's explosion. Patricia took notes on a yellow legal pad. Her face neutral and professional. When I finished, she set down her pen and looked at me. "Mrs. Carter, I need to ask you some direct questions. Is that all right?" "Yes." "Is your name on the deed to the house on Maple Street?" "Yes." "It was in both my name and my late husband's name. When Robert died, it became mine." "Is Kevin's name on the deed?" "No. Never has been." "Has Kevin paid rent or contributed to the mortgage in any way?" Pause. "No. The house has been paid off since 1997. He has not paid for anything." Patricia wrote something down. "Has he paid property taxes? Utilities? Any documentation showing financial responsibility for the home?" "No. I pay the property taxes from my retirement account. The utilities come out of my Social Security." "Good. That is very good." She looked up. "Mrs. Carter, your son has no legal claim to that house. You are the sole owner. What he did yesterday, ordering you to leave your own home, could be considered elder abuse and coercion." The words hung in the air. "Elder abuse. My son." "I do not want to press charges," I said quickly. "I just want to understand my rights." "I understand," Patricia said gently. "Let me be clear about what you are entitled to. That house is yours. You can return any time you want. Kevin refuses to let you in. That is illegal. We can get a court order if necessary. You can also evict him and his wife if you choose to do so. Evict him. The word felt strange in my mouth. Yes, he is living in your home without a lease, without paying rent. Legally. He is a guest who has overstayed his welcome. You can give him 30 days' notice to vacate. My head was spinning. I had spent so many months feeling powerless, pushed around, dismissed. And the whole time I had held all the power. I just had not known it. What if? I swallowed hard. What if I want to sell the house? James, who had been sitting quietly beside me, looked over in surprise. Patricia nodded. That is absolutely your right. It is your property. You can sell it, rent it, or live in it. The choice is entirely yours. Kevin has no say in the matter. Even though he lives there. Even though he lives there. You would need to give him proper notice, but yes. You can sell it out from under him if you want to. I sat back in my chair trying to process this. The house Robert and I had bought. The house where I raised Kevin. The house I had almost let them steal from me. I need to think about this, I said. Of course, Patricia said. Take all the time you need. In the meantime, I recommend a few immediate steps. First, change all your bank account passwords. Make sure Kevin does not have access to your finances. Second, get copies of all important documents. The deed, your will, insurance policies. Keep them somewhere safe, not in the house. Third, do not go back to that house alone. If you need to get your belongings, bring someone with you. James, or even a police escort if necessary. A police escort. My voice came out small. I know it sounds extreme, Patricia said. But Kevin's behavior yesterday was aggressive. We do not know how he will react when he realizes you are serious about standing up for yourself. Better to be safe. She slid a folder across the desk. This contains information about your legal rights, a timeline of next steps, and my contact information. Call me any time, day or night. I mean that. I took the folder with shaking hands. Thank you. On the drive back to James's house, I stared out the window, my mind racing. Kevin had been living in my house for 18 months. 18 months of slowly taking over, pushing me out, making me feel like a burden. And the whole time I could have stopped it. Why had I not? Why had I let it get this far? You are quiet, James said. I am thinking about how stupid I have been. You are not stupid, James said firmly. You are a mother who loved her son and wanted to believe the best of him. That is not stupid. That is human. But I let him walk all over me. You were grieving, James said. Still grieving Robert, even after all these years. And you were lonely. Kevin was all you had left. I understand why you tried so hard to make it work. Tears pricked my eyes. He is all I have left. James pulled the car over to the side of the road and turned to face me. Brenda, listen to me. You have you. You have your strength, your intelligence, your kindness. You have friends. You have people who care about you. You have options. Kevin is not all you have. Not anymore. I looked at this man who had shown me more kindness in 24 hours than my own son had shown me in 2 years. Why are you doing this, James? Why are you helping me? He smiled, sad and soft. Because 50 years ago I let you go, and I have regretted it every day since. I am not going to make that mistake again. I am not going to stand by and watch someone I care about get hurt. Something warm bloomed in my chest. Something I had not felt in a very long time. My phone buzzed. Another text from Kevin. I pulled it out and read it. Mom, this is getting ridiculous. Come home so we can talk like adults. I showed it to James. He frowned. Are you going to answer? Thought about it. Then I typed out a reply. I will come by tomorrow at noon to collect my things. Please be there. I hit send before I could change my mind. James pulled back onto the road. Tomorrow at noon then. I will come with you. You do not have to. Yes, he said. I do. That night I barely slept. Kept imagining tomorrow. Walking back into that house. Facing Kevin. Facing Vanessa. Would he yell again? Would he apologize? Would he even understand what he had done? At 6 in the morning I gave up on sleep and went downstairs. James was already in the kitchen, drinking coffee and reading the newspaper like someone from another era. "Big day," he said. "Big day," I agreed. We did not talk much. There was nothing left to say. At 11:30 we got in the car and drove to Maple Street. When we pulled up, I felt my stomach clench. The house looked the same. White siding, black shutters. The oak tree in the backyard where Robert had built Kevin's treehouse. So many memories. But it did not feel like home anymore. Kevin's car was in the driveway. But he was here. James walked beside me to the front door. I used my key, my hand shaking so badly it took 3 tries to get it in the lock. The door swung open. Kevin was standing in the living room, arms crossed. Vanessa was beside him, wearing yoga pants and an expression of pure annoyance. "Mom," Kevin said. His voice was tight, controlled. "I think we got off on the wrong foot yesterday." I stepped inside, James right behind me. Kevin's eyes flicked to James, then back to me. "I am here to get my things," I said. My voice was steady. Then we need to talk." "About what?" Vanessa asked. Her tone was sharp. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman who had come into my home, into my life, and slowly poisoned my relationship with my son. "About whose house this is," I said. "And what happens next?" Kevin's face went pale. The living room felt different. Everything was rearranged. The couch where Robert used to fall asleep watching football was gone, replaced by a modern gray sectional. My curtains, the blue floral ones I had made myself, were gone too. In their place hung sleek white blinds. Even the family photos on the mantel had been taken down. They had erased me from my own house. "Mom, let us sit down and talk about this rationally," Kevin said. He gestured to the new couch like he was inviting me into his home. "I would rather stand," I said. Kevin sighed. "Look, I know I lost my temper yesterday. I'm sorry. It's been stressful. Work has been crazy, and having to worry about you on top of everything else." "Worry about me?" I interrupted. My voice was quiet, but something in it made Kevin stop talking. "Is that what you call it? You are getting older, Mom. You need help. We are just trying to do what is best for you." "By kicking me out?" "I did not mean it like that," Kevin said, but his eyes slid away from mine. I was frustrated. "You have to understand, Vanessa and I have lives too. We cannot be responsible for you 24/7. "No one asked you to be responsible for me," I said. "I have been taking care of myself for 69 years. I did not need you to move in." "I did not ask you to move in." Vanessa spoke up. "Kevin was worried about you living alone. After your dizzy spell last year." "I had a cold," I said, turning to face her. "I was lightheaded for one afternoon. That does not make me incompetent." "But the stove incident," Vanessa pressed. "You could have burned down the house." "I left a burner on for 10 minutes. Caught it. Nothing happened." "But it could have," Kevin said. "That is the point, Mom. You are not as sharp as you used to be. And this house is too big for one person. It makes sense for you to downsize. Move somewhere with help available." "This house," I said slowly, "is mine." Kevin blinked. "What?" "This house is mine. My name is on the deed. Not yours. Mine." The room went very quiet. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall, the one shaped like a sunflower that I had bought at a yard sale in 1989. "I know that," Kevin said carefully. "But we are family. What is yours is. I mean, eventually it will be mine anyway, so what difference does it make?" "What difference does it make?" I repeated. My hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time. From anger. "Kevin, yesterday you told me to get out of your house. You called it your house. Not our house. Not my house. Your house. That was just a figure of speech." "Was it?" I looked around the room. "Where are my curtains? Where is my furniture? Where are the photos of your father?" We were redecorating, Vanessa said. Making the space more modern. You were erasing me, I said. You have been erasing me for months. Moving me to the back bedroom. Excluding me from family decisions. Treating me like a guest in my own home. That is not fair, Kevin said. His voice was rising. We let you stay here. Let me. The words came out sharp. Let me stay in my own house. James, who had been standing silently by the door, finally spoke. Kevin, do you understand that your mother owns this property outright? That you have been living here as her guest? Kevin's jaw tightened. Who are you exactly? James Mitchell. An old friend. And someone who cares about your mother's well-being. This is a family matter, Vanessa said coldly. It does not concern you. It concerns me when I have to pick Brenda up after being thrown out of her own home, James said. His voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. Kevin turned back to me. Mom, this is crazy. You cannot just leave. Where are you even staying? Somewhere I am wanted, I said. What is that supposed to mean? It means I am tired, Kevin. I am tired of being made to feel like a burden. I am tired of walking on eggshells in my own house. I am tired of being disrespected. We have never disrespected you, Vanessa said. I looked at her. You took over my kitchen. You threw out my recipes. You redecorated my entire house without asking. You made me move out of my bedroom. And yesterday, you stood there and said nothing while your husband screamed at me. Vanessa's face flushed red. You are being dramatic. Am I? Yesterday your husband told me to get out. Those were his exact words. If you will not go to a nursing home, then get out of my house. I looked at Kevin. Do you deny saying that? Kevin opened his mouth, closed it, looked at the floor. I did not think so, I said. Mom, I was angry. People say things they do not mean when they are angry. But you did mean it, I said softly. That is the problem. You meant every word. You want me gone. You want this house. You have wanted it for a while now, have you not? That is not true. Then why have you been telling people it is your house? Kevin froze. What? James heard you. Church. The hospital. You have been telling people this house belongs to you. That is just easier than explaining the whole situation. What situation? The situation where you live rent-free in your mother's house and repay her by trying to throw her into a nursing home. You are twisting everything, Kevin said. His face was red now, the way it used to get when he was a little boy caught in a lie. We were trying to help you. By taking my house. We were not taking your house. Then what were you doing? My voice cracked. Tell me, Kevin. Make me understand. Because from where I stand, it looks like you moved in, pushed me out, and planned to get rid of me so you could have everything Robert and I built. That is not what happened, Kevin said, but his voice was weak. Then what did happen? Explain it to me. He could not. He just stood there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. Vanessa stepped forward. Fine. You want the truth. Yes, we thought it would be better if you moved to assisted living. You are getting old, Brenda. This house is wasted on one person. Kevin and I are starting a family. We need space. It made sense for you to move somewhere smaller and let us take over here. Take over, I repeated. Not ask. Not discuss. Take over. We were going to talk to you about it, Vanessa said. But you are so stubborn. You would never have agreed. So you decided to force me out. We decided to make the practical choice. I looked at my son. And you agreed with this. Kevin would not meet my eyes. Mom, you have to see it from our perspective. We are young. We have our whole lives ahead of us. You have already lived yours. It is our turn now. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. You have already lived yours. As if my life was over. As if I did not matter anymore. James moved to my side. I think we have heard enough. Brenda, why don't you get your things? I will help you. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. I walked down the hallway to the back bedroom, James behind me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely open the drawers. "Take your time," James said gently. "I am right here." I packed my clothes, my jewelry box, the photo albums I had hidden under the bed, the pictures of Robert, of baby Kevin, of our life before everything fell apart. When we came back to the living room, Kevin and Vanessa were whispering urgently to each other. They stopped when they saw us. "I will be back next week with a lawyer," I said, "to discuss what happens next." "What do you mean, what happens next?" Kevin asked. Fear flickered across his face. "I mean, this is my house. And I need to decide what I want to do with it." "You cannot kick us out," Vanessa said. "We have nowhere to go." "You should have thought of that before you tried to kick me out," I said. I walked to the door. Kevin followed me. "Mom, wait. Please. Can we just talk about this?" I turned to look at my son one last time. At the man he had become. And I felt something inside me let go. Not love. That was still there, buried deep, aching. But hope. The hope that he would change, that he would remember who he used to be. That he would wake up one day and be the little boy who used to make me Mother's Day cards out of construction paper. That hope was gone. "There is nothing left to say," I told him. "You made your choice, Kevin. Now I am making mine." I walked out of the house on Maple Street and did not look back. A week passed like a dream. I woke up in James's guest room every morning to sunshine and the smell of coffee. We took walks around his neighborhood. We sat on the porch in the evenings and talked about everything and nothing. He told me about his late wife Carol, how much he had loved her, how much he missed her. I told him about Robert, about the life we had built together. Felt like being young again. Like remembering who I used to be before I became invisible. But in the back of my mind always was the house on Maple Street. And Kevin. He called every day. I let it go to voicemail. The messages started out angry, then became defensive, then shifted to something that almost sounded like panic. "Mom, we need to talk about this. Mom, you are overreacting. Mom, please. Just call me back." I did not call back. Instead, I met with Patricia again. She laid out the options in her calm, professional voice. I could evict Kevin and Vanessa. Could move back in. I could sell the house. The choice was mine. "What do you want to do?" she asked. Thought about it. Really thought about it. That house held 50 years of memories. Robert proposing to me in the kitchen. Kevin taking his first steps in the living room. Christmas mornings. Birthday parties. Sunday dinners. But those memories were just that. Memories. They did not live in the walls. They lived in me. "I want to sell it," I said. Patricia nodded. "Are you sure? Once you start this process, there is no going back." "I am sure." She pulled out a stack of papers. "Then we need to make this official. I have prepared an eviction notice. Kevin and Vanessa have 30 days to vacate the property. After that, you can list the house and sell it to whoever you choose." My hand shook as I signed my name. Brenda Marie Carter. In blue ink. Final. "I will have these served tomorrow," Patricia said. "Be prepared for Kevin to react badly." "I know," I said. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about Kevin getting those papers. What would he say? What would he do? Part of me, the mother part, wanted to call him and warn him, to soften the blow. But I did not. The next afternoon my phone rang. "Kevin." I let it ring. Then it rang again. And again. Finally, James gently took the phone from my hand. "Let me," he said. He answered. "Hello, Kevin. This is James Mitchell. Your mother cannot come to the phone right now. Yes, she knows about the eviction notice. That is correct, you have 30 days. Because this is her house and she has decided to sell it. Kevin, yelling is not going to change anything. I suggest you use this time to find a new place to live. Goodbye." He hung up and handed the phone back to me. "He is very angry." "I know," I whispered. "Do you regret it?" I thought about the question. Did I regret it? I regretted that it had come to this. I regretted that my son had become someone I did not recognize. I regretted the years I had wasted trying to make myself smaller so he could feel bigger. But did I regret standing up for myself? No, I said. I do not regret it. James smiled. Good. 2 weeks later, Patricia called. Kevin's lawyer contacted me. He wants to negotiate. Negotiate what? He is proposing that you sign the house over to Kevin in exchange for him agreeing to pay for your care at a nursing home. Actually laughed. It was so absurd. He still thinks he is in control. Shall I tell him no? Tell him the eviction stands. 30 days. Not 1 day more. Understood. Kevin tried other tactics. He showed up at James's house. James did not let him in. He called my sister Janet and told her I was being manipulated by a strange man. Janet called me and I told her the truth. Everything. She was furious at Kevin, not me. He sent flowers. I donated them to the hospital. He sent a letter. I did not open it. Finally, with 3 days left before the eviction deadline, he called one last time. Answered. Mom. His voice was ragged. Please. You are ruining my life. I am not ruining your life, Kevin. I am reclaiming mine. Where are we supposed to go? How are we supposed to afford a new place? The same way everyone else does. You're a doctor. You make good money. You will figure it out. I cannot believe you are doing this. After everything I have done for you. The words stopped me cold. Everything you have done for me. Kevin, I worked 3 jobs to put you through medical school. I gave up everything so you could have a better life. And you repaid me by trying to throw me away like garbage. That is not what I was doing. Then what were you doing? Silence. I thought so, I said. You have 3 days, Kevin. I suggest you start packing. Hung up. James was watching me from the doorway. Are you all right? I am better than all right, I said. And I meant it. 3 days later, Patricia confirmed that Kevin and Vanessa had moved out. The house on Maple Street was empty. What now? James asked. Now, I said. I move forward. The realtor, a cheerful woman named Monica, said the house would sell fast. Good neighborhood, good bones, fair price. She was right. Within a week we had 3 offers. One was from a young couple expecting their first baby. One was from an investor who wanted to flip it. One was from a family with 3 kids who had just moved to town. Chose the family. The Johnsons. Sarah and Marcus. And their children Emma, Sophie, and little Max. They reminded me of Robert and me when we were young. Full of hope and dreams and barely enough money to make it work. Monica scheduled a walkthrough. I had not been back to the house since the day I confronted Kevin. I was nervous. James drove me. When we pulled up, the lawn needed mowing. The flower boxes were empty. It looked sad. Neglected. The Johnsons were already there, waiting on the porch. Sarah had Max on her hip. The 2 older girls were peering through the front window, their faces pressed against the glass. Mrs. Carter. Sarah approached with a warm smile. Thank you so much for choosing our offer. This house is perfect for us. Call me Brenda, I said. Would you like to see inside? I unlocked the door. The house smelled stale. Kevin and Vanessa had taken their furniture when they left, so the rooms were mostly empty. Our footsteps echoed. The girls ran ahead, exploring. Mom, this room is perfect for me and Sophie. Emma called from upstairs. Can I have the room with the tree outside the window? Sophie asked. The room with the tree. Kevin's old room. Where Robert used to read him bedtime stories. Of course you can, sweetheart, Sarah called back. She turned to me, eyes shining. They are so excited. We have been renting a small apartment downtown. The kids have been sharing one tiny bedroom. This feels like a palace to them. I felt my throat tighten. It is a good house, I said. It has good memories. Marcus was examining the kitchen. This is solid construction. Well maintained. You have taken good care of this place. My husband and I bought it in 1982, I said. We raised our son here. Where is your husband now? Sarah asked gently. He passed away. 30 years ago. I am so sorry, she said. And your son? Pause. How did I answer that? He is no longer in my life. Sarah seemed to understand not to ask more. Well, we will take good care of it. Promise. We will make it a home again. I know you will, I said. Little Max started fussing. Sarah bounced him on her hip. He is teething. Everything makes him cranky these days. I remembered those days. Walking the floors at 2 in the morning with Kevin, singing lullabies until my voice was hoarse. There is a good pediatrician on Oak Street, I said. Dr. Henderson. He took care of my son when he was little. Thank you, Sarah said. We are still figuring out where everything is in this town. We walked through the rest of the house. The girls discovered the backyard and shrieked with delight when they saw the old oak tree. Can we get a swing? Ma begged. We will see, Marcus said, but he was smiling. I looked at that tree. At the spot where Robert's treehouse used to be. It had fallen apart years ago, and Kevin had insisted we tear it down. Said it was an eyesore. There used to be a treehouse there, I told Marcus. My husband built it for our son. If you wanted to build another one for your girls, I think they would love it. That is a great idea, Marcus said. We finished the walkthrough. Monica handled the paperwork details. The closing would be in 2 weeks. As the Johnsons drove away, Emma and Sophie waving from the back window, I felt something unexpected. I was letting go. Of the house. Of the past. Of the son who had forgotten how to love me. And it did not hurt as much as I thought it would. James put his arm around my shoulders. You did a good thing. They will be happy there, I said. Yes, he agreed. They will. We got back in the car. As we drove away, I looked in the side mirror. The house on Maple Street grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared. I did not cry. Smiled. The house sold in 30 days. The Johnsons moved in on a Saturday morning in November. I watched from James's car as the moving truck pulled up, as furniture and boxes disappeared through the front door, as Emma and Sophie ran circles around the oak tree, shrieking with laughter. Are you sad? James asked. No, I said. And I meant it. I am relieved. The money from the sale went into my account the following Tuesday. It was more than I expected. Enough to live comfortably for the rest of my life. Enough to stop worrying about every penny. Patricia called that afternoon. The funds have cleared. Congratulations, Brenda. You are officially free. Free. What a beautiful word. Kevin called that night. I almost did not answer. But something made me press the green button. Mom. His voice was hollow. Tired. The house sold. Yes. I drove by today. There is a family living there now. Kids. The Johnsons. They seem very nice. Silence. Then, I cannot believe you actually did it. You sold our house. My house, I corrected gently. It was always my house, Kevin. Where is the money going? The question caught me off guard. Not how are you, not I am sorry, not can we talk. Where is the money going? That is none of your concern. I am your son. I have a right to know. You have no rights to my money, Kevin. Just like you had no rights to my house. This is about that guy, is it not? James. You are giving him everything. He is manipulating you, Mom. Cannot you see that? I felt anger spark in my chest. James has been kinder to me in 2 months than you have been in 2 years. He is not manipulating me. He is treating me with respect. Something you seem to have forgotten how to do. That is not fair. Fair. You want to talk about fair? I worked 3 jobs to put you through medical school. I sacrificed everything for you. And you repaid me by trying to steal my home and throw me into a nursing home. Do not talk to me about fair. I was not trying to steal anything. I just thought. You thought what? That I was too old and stupid to matter anymore? That you could push me around and I would just take it? No. Thought. I thought I was helping. Helping yourself, you mean. The silence on the other end was deafening. Kevin, I said softer now. I loved you with everything I had. I still love you. But I will not let you treat me like I am worthless. I will not shrink myself to make you comfortable. I am done with that. So what now? His voice cracked. You are just cutting me out of your life. That is up to you, I said. If you want a relationship with me, it has to be built on respect. Real respect, not just words. Actions. How am I supposed to do that? Figure it out, Kevin. You are a smart man. Doctor. Surely you can figure out how to treat your mother like a human being. I hung up before he could respond. James was standing in the doorway. How do you feel? Lighter, I said. A week later, my sister Janet called. Kevin came to see me. What did he want? To talk. About you. About what happened. Brenda, he is a mess. Vanessa left him. I felt a small pang in my chest. She left him. Moved out 2 days ago. Apparently she was furious about losing the house. She blamed Kevin for messing everything up. She filed for divorce yesterday. I sat down heavily. Part of me, the mother part, wanted to reach out, to comfort him. But I stayed silent. He is living in a 1-bedroom apartment near the hospital, Janet continued. Working all the time. Not taking care of himself. He looks terrible. That is his choice. Brenda, he is your son. I know who he is, Janet. But I cannot fix this for him. He has to fix it himself. He asked me to give you a message. What message? He said to tell you he is sorry. Really sorry. And that he understands if you never want to see him again. But he hopes someday you might give him a chance to make things right. Closed my eyes. Kevin's face flashed through my mind. Not the angry man who screamed at me, but the little boy who used to climb into my lap when he was scared. The teenager who cried at his father's funeral. The young man who hugged me at his medical school graduation. Tell him, I said slowly, that sorry is a start. But it is only a start. Christmas came. James and I spent it quietly. He cooked a ham. I made sweet potato casserole. We watched old movies and drank hot chocolate. It was simple and peaceful and exactly what I needed. On Christmas evening there was a knock at the door. James answered it. Nobody was there, but a small package sat on the doorstep, wrapped in brown paper. My name was written on top in handwriting I recognized. Kevin. I carried it inside and sat down on the couch. My hands shook as I unwrapped it. Inside was a photo album. Old, worn, with a blue cover I remembered. Opened it. The first page showed Robert and me on our wedding day. Young and smiling, full of hope. The next pages showed the house on Maple Street. Empty rooms we slowly filled with love and furniture and life. Then Kevin. Baby Kevin in his yellow nursery. Toddler Kevin taking his first steps. Little Kevin on his first day of school. Gap-toothed and grinning. Every page was a memory. Birthday parties. Christmas mornings. Robert building the treehouse. Kevin's high school graduation. Medical school acceptance letter. And tucked into the last page was a letter. I unfolded it with trembling hands. Dear Mom, I found this album when I was packing up my things. Vanessa wanted to throw it away, but I kept it. I am glad I did. Looking through these pictures, I remembered who I used to be. Who you raised me to be. And I am ashamed of who I became. You are right about everything. I was selfish. I was cruel. I treated you like a burden when you were the person who sacrificed everything for me. I took your kindness for granted. I took your love for granted. I took you for granted. I cannot explain why I did what I did. I told myself I was being practical, that I was making smart decisions, that I was helping you. But the truth is I was helping myself. I wanted the house. I wanted the easy life. And I was willing to push you aside to get it. Vanessa leaving showed me something. She did not love me. She loved what I could give her. And when that was gone, so was she. That is exactly how I treated you. Like you were only valuable for what you could give me. I am so sorry, Mom. I am sorry for every cruel word, every dismissive look, every time I made you feel small. I am sorry for forgetting that you are my mother, not my burden. I am sorry for forgetting Dad and everything he taught me about love and respect and family. I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not deserve your forgiveness. But I want you to know that I am trying to be better. I am going to therapy. I am working on myself. I am trying to figure out where I went so wrong and how to make it right. I love you, Mom. I know I did not show it. I know I hurt you deeply. But I love you. I always have. I just forgot how to show it. Merry Christmas, Kevin. I read the letter 3 times. Tears rolled down my cheeks and onto the paper, smudging the ink. James sat beside me. What does it say? I handed it to him. He read it quietly, then looked at me. What are you going to do? I do not know, I whispered. Is it enough? Can words fix what he did? No, James said gently. Words cannot fix it. But they can start the healing. I am still so angry. You have every right to be. But I am also tired. Tired of being angry. Tired of hurting. Then maybe, James said, it is time to let him try to earn his way back. Not all the way. Not right away. But maybe just a little. I looked at the photo album. At all those years of love and hope and sacrifice. At the family we used to be. Maybe, I said. That night I wrote a letter back. Short. Simple. Kevin. Thank you for the album. Thank you for the letter. I appreciate your apology. I am not ready to see you yet. But I am willing to write. We can take this slowly. One step at a time. If you are truly committed to change, prove it through actions, not just words. I still love you. But trust has to be earned back. I mailed it the next morning. 6 months passed like water flowing downstream. Steady. Gentle. Healing. Kevin and I exchanged letters every 2 weeks. First, they were stiff and formal. Careful. But slowly, something shifted. He told me about therapy, about the hard work of looking at himself honestly. About realizing how much Vanessa had influenced him, but also accepting that the choices were his own. I told him about my life with James. About rediscovering myself. About learning that being 69 did not mean being invisible or useless or done. It meant being free to finally live for myself. In April, Kevin asked if we could meet for coffee. Said yes. The diner was neutral ground. Halfway between James's house and Kevin's apartment. I arrived early, my stomach in knots. When Kevin walked in, I barely recognized him. He had lost weight. His face looked older, tired. But his eyes were different. Softer. More aware. Hi, Mom, he said quietly. Hello, Kevin. We sat across from each other in a worn booth. The waitress brought coffee. Neither of us touched it. Thank you for coming, Kevin said. I was not sure you would. I almost did not, I admitted. But I decided you deserved a chance. He nodded. I have been thinking a lot about Dad lately. About what he would think of me. Of what I did to you. What do you think he would say? Kevin's eyes filled with tears. I think he would be ashamed of me. I think he would be disappointed that I forgot everything he taught me about family and honor and treating people with dignity. He would be, I said honestly. But he would also be proud that you are trying to do better now. Am I doing better? Sometimes I do not know. I wake up every day and remember what I did to you and I feel sick. How do I live with that? One day at a time, I said. The same way I learned to live without your father. The same way I learned to stand up for myself. One day at a time. We talked for 2 hours. Really talked. For the first time in years, I felt like I was speaking to my son, not a stranger wearing his face. When we said goodbye in the parking lot, Kevin hugged me. I do not expect you to trust me again, he said. But I am going to try to earn it anyway. However long it takes. Good, I said. Because it will take a long time. I know, he said. I love you, Mom. I love you too, I said. And I meant it. Over the next months, Kevin showed up. Not perfectly. He forgot to call sometimes. He still said thoughtless things occasionally. But he tried. He sent flowers on my birthday. He came to Sunday dinners at James's house and helped wash dishes afterward. He listened when I talked. Really listened. And slowly, carefully, something began to heal. One evening in September, James and I were sitting on the porch watching the sunset when he reached over and took my hand. "Brenda Carter," he said. "I have a question for you." My heart skipped. What question? Would you consider making this permanent? Not just staying in my guest room, but actually sharing a life with me. I looked at this man who had given me back my dignity when I had lost it, who had shown me that being loved did not mean being controlled, who had reminded me that my life was not over just because I was getting older. "James Mitchell," I said. "Are you asking me to marry you?" He smiled. "I am." I thought about Robert, about the life we had shared, about the love that had sustained me through so many years. And I knew somehow that he would want this for me. He would want me to be happy. "Yes," I said. "Yes, I will marry you." We married in November in a small ceremony at the church. Janet was there. My old friends from the hospital. The Johnsons came, bringing their children. Sarah hugged me and whispered, "The house is so happy now. Thank you for trusting us with it." And Kevin came. He walked me down the aisle, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you for giving me another chance," he whispered before handing me to James. "You are earning it," I whispered back. At the reception, Kevin stood up to make a toast. His hands shook as he held his glass. "I want to say something to my mother," he began. "For years I took you for granted. I treated you like you did not matter. I tried to erase you from your own life. And I am ashamed of that every single day." The room was silent. "But you taught me something important," he continued. "You taught me that love means respect. That family does not give you the right to mistreat people. That standing up for yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. You taught me that it is never too late to start over, to demand better, to choose happiness." He looked at me, his eyes wet. "I am sorry for the son I was. But I am grateful for the mother you are. The mother you have always been. Strong, brave, worthy of so much more than I gave you." He raised his glass. "To Brenda, who taught me that the best revenge is not punishment. It is living well." Everyone raised their glasses. I felt James squeeze my hand. Poetic justice, I thought. Not destroying Kevin but showing him the truth. Not seeking revenge but reclaiming my life. Not hatred but boundaries. Not bitterness but peace. That night, dancing with my new husband under string lights, I caught Kevin's eye across the room. He smiled at me. A real smile. And I smiled back. We would never be what we were before. Too much had broken. But maybe, just maybe, we could build something new. Something honest. Something real. And maybe that was better anyway. I was 70 years old. And for the first time in years I felt truly alive. If my story touched your heart, please share it. Comment below and tell me about a time you had to stand up for yourself. We all have these stories. We all deserve to be heard. Thank you for listening to mine.